How was it? Marathon?
I did the half. I enjoyed it, to be fair. It felt like I was part of something really big. I've never really done all like that, when you're all setting off together. But as soon as I finished, I was thinking I couldn't imagine doing another half marathon, as in a marathon.
As in go again.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got a decent time, but I think half of it was probably adrenaline fueled.
Yeah.
But
it's just the crowd's pushing you on, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
Awful.
I did it in my boxes as well, so everyone were cheering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're chafing after one night.
It's so cool.
Nice. It's all right. Right, let's roll. So, Jake and Dheeran. No.
James.
Sorry, boys. Sorry, that's really disrespectful. My head's been a pickle this morning. Right.
And it's Dan.
And Alex.
Dan and Alex.
I'm Dan. So, John and Dheeran, just me. James and Dheeran, thanks for joining us, boys.
Cheers.
Yeah, nice one.
The OddBalls Foundation. This is what's brought us together. I guess to start off, it's good to announce that us as a brand, as Immerse, we're going to be officially collaborating with you boys. So, mega excited about that. So, thanks for joining us today, lads. Tell us a bit about yourselves first. Just tell us how you got into this situation.
Well, originally I knew a past ambassador who I worked with him lifeguarding. And I seen the funky car that he had and all the stuff he were doing. And straight away I was interested, but I'd missed the application for my second year, so I knew straight away I was going to be on it for my third year and make sure that I got ready for the interview. Yeah, I applied for it, and then I think after the interview I realised kind of how big it was and what I was getting into, just completely bigger than myself. And then got the role, and it's just been absolutely brilliant, the stuff I've managed to get involved in. So yeah, I'm the university ambassador for Liverpool, give talks in and around Merseyside, different schools, organisations. But yeah.
So just likewise, so I'm in part of the hockey society at uni. So the past ambassador, he was in the hockey there with me, and I just saw the work he was doing, and it's just I feel like sometimes in university you get stuck in the cycle of just nights out every so often, and then just university you kind of just get in a constant cycle of doing the same thing.
Nights out every night, did you say?
So then the ability just to kind of go out, do a talk at school, it just separates it. It's a bit of fresh air, but also like the networking, the public speaking, it's just it's all great stuff for the CV, like we were saying earlier. So it's just a good gig all around.
Yeah, I think most ambassadors as well, that it's quite rugby orientated and hockey. I'm football myself, but you've just got to be quite a well-versed person within university. That's what they're looking for, people with networks as well, because as well as booking in the talks in the schools in around Merseyside, we do talks to different sports teams. So I know you've done a lot, speaking to the rugby teams, football teams, anyone really. And it's like, we're both characters who have got a lot of friends at universities within the sporting societies at uni. So that helps massively with fundraising and getting in talks as well.
I love the eye-catching branding as well. I mean, check this out here.
If you're watching,
this is awesome.
Absolutely.
You can't miss you. Don't come quietly. No, that's it.
Well, that's exactly the idea. It's there to, what's that, oddballs? Yeah.
Raise
Balls.
awareness.
It's there to evoke a conversation about testicular cancer.
Yeah. So, and that's obviously where it stems from. So can you tell us a little bit of backstory as to where did this start? What's burned this?
You want to take the oddballs bit?
Yeah. So OddBalls started back in 2014. So they were donating money to lots of charities, good causes. Off the top of my head, I think it was around 850,000 in a certain time period. So I don't know the exact dates. And then it kind of started the conversation of what can we actually do ourselves? How can we make a bigger movement and raise money for charity? And then that sort of led on to the creation of the OddBalls Foundation. The OddBalls Foundation, like James just said about evoking conversation, it was all brightly coloured underwear. So then you see like in a change room, one of your mates, he's wearing the OddBalls, you're like, what's that? And he's like, oh, that's the OddBalls Foundation. So they're breaking down the stigma around testicular cancer, getting lads having a chat with each other, like in a jokey way. We want to make people be able to joke about it, because although testicular cancer is a serious topic and it's something that needs light kind of shedding on it, if you can have a joke with your mate and say, have you checked your balls today? And although you're going to giggle about it, it's actually talking about it than just kind of being quiet and not talking about it.
Yeah, it's all about breaking down that stigma around talking about balls. Like when we do our talks, the first slide, we introduce ourselves, and literally the first slide is just a lot of nicknames to describe your balls, you know, fellas,
Yeah.
Tim and Tom.
Yeah.
And then you'll say to the crowd, any other suggestions, you always get one kid shouting out bollocks. But it's like, we enjoy that because it's like, it breaks down the stigma. It completely makes it a fun, innovative way to talk about testicular cancer. So, but yeah, it was. And then a year later, after what he just said, that's when the OddBalls Foundation was founded. And then now the UK's leading charity for raising awareness of testicular cancer, distributing the Check Yourself guides and 50 university ambassadors across Ireland and the UK.
I think it was 100. Their target for 23 was 150,000 people educated and 1,000 awareness sessions across the UK. And back in 2018, we had 5 ambassadors, and now we got 50, and we got some in Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
Nice.
We've got the good spread, so schools across getting that message spread to them.
I'd say we've smashed 1,000 this year as well. What we've been doing, everyone.
That's awesome.
That's great.
I think it's very much a taboo subject across the board with health and males. I think males struggle to actually admit that there might be something wrong with their health. And, you know, there's loads of friends of mine that they will go to the doctor, they will like entertain those sorts of conversations. I think to a certain degree, we really do need to take more responsibility and accountability for our health. And this is obviously the message that you guys are pushing, but also being open and talking about it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, and it is one of those private subjects, but let's bring it to the table and let's talk about it.
On that, it was I did a talk recently. I think it was in Bolton. And it was quite a sad thing because one of the teachers there back probably 20 years ago, her brother, he was second year of university, and he wasn't feeling great. Called his parents up crying, saying, I'm really not feeling great. And because he was playing rugby at university, everyone thought he's a healthy guy. Everyone just kept brushing it under the carpet, saying, no, you're fine, mate, you're fine. And then 2 months before graduation, diagnosed with testicular cancer. And unfortunately, 3 months later, he didn't make it. And that's the whole point of our point, is that you can be fit and healthy. And I say this in my talks as well, like, even if you think you're really fit and healthy, just check yourself. If you get one of those symptoms, instantly go to the doctor and get that checked out.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how serious it could be. And that's why the work the foundation's doing is class.
Yeah, it's a bit like hearing stuff like that. Obviously, that's a very harrowing one, but like the feedback that we get, often it will be like, oh, one of our students has gone home, checked himself, they really enjoyed your talk, and they've gone home and checked themselves, they found a lump and they're booked in the doctors. Obviously, they found a lump, worrying stuff, but for us, that's almost positive feedback.
Yeah.
Because I've then gone into a school on a morning and gone home with a day after, but then I found out I've actually gone home and listened to what I've got to say. So at the end of my talks, I always say, if you haven't listened to anything I've said about the OddBalls, about the underwear, OddBalls Foundation, just make sure you go home after a hot shower and check yourself. That's what I say every time, and hopefully it's an encouraging way to do it.
So obviously, as part of your branding, you know, I see posters and things like that in cafes and things, and it's also showing you how you can check yourself. Do you want to give us a little bit of a run through? You don't have to physically run through, but just, you know, basically describe what do we need to look at as fellas. You know, how do we do it?
That's it. Yeah, I'll start off. So the first key point for like checking yourself is, even before you kind of have any symptoms of testicular cancer, which I'll come on to, is you're checking yourself every month. Because what we say to all the students is there's no point checking yourself every month if you don't know what your normal testicle feels like. So if people sometimes check and then they find a lump, then it's sometimes but they don't know what to check for. So first of all, just check yourself every month so you're familiar with what your normal testicle feels like. And then when we're going on to symptoms of testicular cancer, the key one is a lump or bump. So around your testicles, around the back, there's an epididymis and epidermis. So those are the normal parts of the testicle. So when you're rolling through the testicle, don't confuse them for a lump or bump. But over time, you'll recognize those structures as part of your testicles. But lumps or bumps are the key one. Increased firmness, dull ache or sharp pain.
And obviously the main point, the question that we always say at the end we've got a little quiz, and it's best time to check yourself is straight after a hot shower or hot bath. It's when the testicles are supple, they're loose. It's when it'll be the best time to find any lumps if there are anything. But yeah, like Dheeran said, the spermatic cord and the epididymis on the back of the testicle. Sometimes people will think them and feel like it is a lump, but I would say if you're feeling it and think it is or might not be, just go get it checked anyway.
Yeah.
No, more likely than not, it probably won't be, but feeling worried, just confide with that doctor. Speak to
So basically, with the ice baths, we don't want to be doing that then, do we? We don't want to be checking after the ice bath. If that's what we've done. It's just like,
After the sauna, have a check.
after the sauna.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, how old are you two lads?
I'm 20.
I'm trying to.
What an absolute credit you are to this foundation, because I'm thinking in my own head, what were I doing at your age? And
yeah,
no, just nothing like what you were doing. So I think for you lads personally, I think you should be proud of what you're doing, because
It is such a great opportunity. And like I said, like obviously I studied journalism at university, but since this year, I think if I hadn't have got this role and the stuff that it's offered me and kind of knowing what I kind of want to go into now, I'd be quite lost to be fair.
You probably don't realise what you're putting yourselves through, and in terms of how big it'll impact your lives going forward, because it's like, I'm 31 now. I've just become aligned, I believe, with my true path and what we're doing, and going through that, personal development for you boys. It's like putting yourselves in front of massive crowds of people and, public speaking. We're just getting into that ourselves, like, and just the personal development that'll bring for you boys at such a young age. Being part of something much bigger, like you say. I think fair play, well done.
Yeah, so I know for a fact that whether it's 5-10 years time, I'll still be talking about this on my CV, 100%. So yeah, it's top of that. I'm interested in the culture of the organisation. Yeah.
So what's it like being part of the organisation, and how does it make you feel? What are like the values within the...
Brilliant. Well, like I said before, it's massively rugby orientated and always has been from the start. I think it was rugby lads who founded it up, the actual OddBalls company. And then ever since, rugby teams getting involved, they love the budgie smugglers and boxers. Yeah. So, like a lot of the other ambassadors that we meet are rugby, but I think this year especially, any ambassador who's coming in next year and taking over our role, it's literally just getting bigger and bigger. And it's like you can be coming into the role at a better time in terms of going into 2024, 25, 100%.
Yeah, I think just the values just amazing. Like it's a real community. Because like we see everyone, all the other ambassadors once a year, apart from events like this where we kind of go together as two ambassadors. We see each other once a year, and I remember us going to the ambassador day where we get brought into the new role. We see the ambassadors above us, and those lads haven't seen each other for a year, and everyone's just kind of hugging each other, having such a great time. Yeah. We go out on a night out as a social, and then we've got the OddBalls Foundation Festival, if you've heard of that. I think we're doing that in the 1st of June. So then it's just a great weekend where we kind of get introduced.
We got invited to come down with our products, but unfortunately we were somewhere else at a fitness festival. So, but hopefully next year we'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the other partners that we've got as well. We've got student fight nights. Manchester's got a few, but in Liverpool for me. So essentially how that works is a partner with the OddBalls Foundation. And in 17 different cities now, there's a student fight night. And how that works, it's a white collar boxing event, and each student has to raise £100 for the OddBalls Foundation.
Nice.
Massive event. At the end of it, 8 weeks free training, and then they fight each other just like any other fight night you can imagine.
Yeah.
But that has just been absolutely amazing for the OddBalls Foundation, because it links well, because you've got the ring girls, the ring boys all dancing around in OddBalls, all the fighters can wear OddBalls gear. Nice. It's just such a good way on social media as well to spread the awareness. Yeah. But as well, I think we've raised, I know Liverpool alone on two events which I've helped run has raised £18,000. Nice. And then you've got the big dogs in Durham and Loughborough who raised I think Durham did nearly 50 this time, which is just mental. Yeah.
Wow. As the brand and the foundation exceeded expectations, from where it originated and where it is now.
I would say so. Yeah. I think managers would probably have a different view, but I just think, from my personal opinion, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think one of the key facts that I remember is just Leicester did like 19 grand in one night, something like that, and I think. Obviously, I don't know the exact numbers, but in contrast to the first year in 2018, if you looked at how much we were fundraising, I think you'd be surprised by how much it's grown in the last 5 years. I think even the fact that we've grown tenfold in the amount of ambassadors in the last 5 years just says how fastly the charity's growing, and how much of an impact and how kind of what a good message we're spreading as well.
It's quite funny because sometimes I always think like all the pillows and stuff that we've got, it's it's almost like we're going to run out of ideas at some point. And then the managers and other people around have always managed to come up with ideas like that London Bridge video. I don't know if you've seen that other thing, but basically the London Bridge, when the sun shines on it, because of the weird patterns, the shadow which it creates on the bridge looked like a penis.
Yeah.
Like 2 balls. I'll show you the video after.
And it's on Westminster Bridge. And then also we've got the new beer with Full Brew Company with the hippie jungle branding on it.
Yeah.
And so then I think if you asked our managers 5 years ago if they thought that we're going to be having an activation on Westminster Bridge, which is getting picked up by loads of media and a partnership.
Yeah, I think it was on Daily Mail. It was, honestly, I'll show you the video later, it's class. But yeah, and then there's a QR code on that beer which goes directly to a Check Yourself guide. I was speaking to Harry the other day, and I think they're trying to do a shower gel, like, because I mean that's the idea I didn't even think of. But if they're linked up with Radox, let's say, put a Check Yourself guide on the back. You're in the shower, you're in the bath.
Yeah.
It's perfect time, really. You couldn't have a better.
Yeah. It's like there's a term for it called habit stacking. So it's like, put it on top of another habit. So it's like if you want to create a new habit, so you have a morning coffee, then you think, I want to start journaling as well. Just put your journal next to your coffee in the morning, you can do it at the same time. So it's very similar to that, isn't it? It's like, just check them while you're in there.
Yeah.
Great idea, let's make that happen. Come on, Radox, if you're listening.
And obviously with what we're going to do as well, ice bath, like we said, maybe not such a good idea, but certainly after
but it is as well, though, because it's like you're in your boxes, you've got the link up with OddBalls. It's more about getting the word out there than physically checking your balls, because you do that in your own time anyway. You're not really expected to be checking your balls.
I think if you guys are going down that sauna route, it's perfect for you. This is exactly what we said. It'll be nice and warm, the balls are dropped. So then
I never really think of sauna.
Something in the future.
Yeah, we've got some ideas as well. What's it? No, what's it? There's some actually, let's talk about it, right? Because with sauna exposure and heat exposure, one of the things is that there's actually studies that show it can affect the production of sperm and in the testicles. So something around cooling that environment in a sauna, I think, is something that we're going to be looking at.
Which also, I mean, I'm not speaking as a doctor, but if you do get orchidectomy, which is when you get testicular cancer and get that testicle removed, it can affect your chances of infertility and getting someone pregnant. So it might link in there in terms of increasing sperm count, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, very well, yeah. So what are the current statistics around this, in terms of testicular cancer, how many males does it usually affect and things like that? Have you got any sort of stats on that?
So 2,400 each year. You've 6 every day. That's 1 every 4 hours. And
then there's got the twice as many British men getting testicular cancer now compared to 1970.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
But I always say that I don't know whether that's because
Population
increase and because there's more stuff like us that are getting the word out there as well.
Yeah,
like
very true.
In the 1970s, there's nothing like this, is there? You know what I mean? No one would have been telling each other to check the balls back then.
No.
Just like with women, breast cancer and stuff like that. That's massive.
One that's not directly for testicular cancer is 1 in 2 people will develop some form of cancer in their lifetime.
Yeah,
and that's something I didn't know before starting this role. And it's
when I do talks and do that facts, I always go, look at your mate next to you. One of you.
It's crazy. It's frightening. That's what we say. We always say after the talk, even if you don't look at testicular cancer, just go research, look at what age range you are, kind of what your ethnicity is, what kind of demographic you're in, and look at the cancers that can affect you. It's important that you're educated, because it's great the work we're doing, but there's not a lot of education around all the other cancers as well.
Yeah.
So
have you both become more health conscious since starting this role?
I would say so, 100%.
Yeah.
Because we don't. Obviously, schools is the main one, because it's educating people who should know about it, who won't know about it, as in the your year 9s, 10s, and 11s.
It's really important.
But I've also been to a few cancer awareness days and World Health Days, and I'll go and speak. Like, I was at one in Widnes before Christmas, and there was all sorts of different stalls, lung cancer and all sorts. And it's look around, just speaking to these people. Like, I almost felt a little bit out of place, because most of the people in there were had cancer, and it was like just speaking to them and just seeing what they've gone through were just mental, because just so many different cancers out there. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So although we spread awareness, testicular cancer, like you said, it is just a general term as well.
Yeah.
Making people more aware of their health and
That's what
checking.
that's what put me on this path. I've been a PT and coach for the last 18 years, but what really aligned me with my path is losing my mum to brain cancer. So that was something that really was quite shocking, because it happened very quickly and she was way too young. So it was like, that shock response of, how's this happened?
Yeah.
How could you prevent it? And I started to, go down the research part of it, and then wanting to, the things that I was finding out about health and things, tips, tricks on how to stay healthy, live longer. That's the path that I went down, and then it then formed a connection with me and Al, and then the products are doing that as well now,
Well, yeah.
So unfortunately, it's either going to come from something maybe tragic or even, a beautiful surprise for you guys, I guess. But at some point, I think it's just got to realign your focus in terms of what you do with yourself as well, your own health, how you conduct, your own nutrition, your own training, your recovery, everything that you do. I know we're not getting out of here alive, but we want to live the best that we possibly can while we're here, don't we? So
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, it's a great thing what you guys are doing, and like we say, you can see this brand everywhere.
So is that the kind of path you want to take with Immerse, like educating people on cancer as well? Is saying the benefits that it might have.
Just overall
not just cancer to isolate that. It's just overall health, mental health, changing your perspectives on your mindset. It's very much a mindset thing as well. I think when change happens, you've got to change your mind. So, and the ice bath reinforces that. Yeah. You never really want to get in.
No,
you boys get in regular.
Yeah, pretty much daily. Yeah,
never gets easier. Never gets easier.
No, I don't. Winters are quite spicy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Getting up in the morning and getting in there, cracking the ice off it. You don't really want to get in, and that's all part of it. There's a lot of things that you don't really want to do, but it's going to be for
that's
greater
exactly
good.
what it is. It's just the discipline.
Discipline, the mental resilience.
Cold shower, it's tough to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Even like when you guys first started public speaking, it's a very nerve-wracking thing.
Every time.
Yeah, and you don't really want to do it, but every time you step out and you do it, you always feel better for that. And that's that's just going to increase your own self-esteem. And that's healthy as well. It's, Immerse represents a lot more than that for us. It's the whole message of health and wellness across the board. So, not just to isolate cancer as one thing, but, just wellness in as a whole.
And creating daily habits around that as well. I think that's the, one of the big things for us.
I'd say, just before we move on to this, the most important fact, because obviously you started asking about fact, is it's one of the most curable cancers. Testicular cancer is one of the most curable cancers. Over 95% of men diagnosed early are cured, and early is obviously early.
That's why the work we're doing is not kind of situated around finding a cure, because like James said, there's an orchidectomy, so we just remove the testicle. As you can imagine, with other cancers, you can't remove those organs, whereas we've got two testicles, you can remove one. And so that's why all of our research, all of our kind of work is going into just awareness and making sure people are aware of checking, so then you can catch it early, just get that surgery done, and then you can kind of live it.
And I think a lot of people now, you can get a prosthetic testicle fitted after you've had an orchidectomy, but I think with stuff like OddBalls and the new stuff that are coming in with different charities raising awareness of different things with different cancers, I think a lot of people now are just getting testicular cancer, getting it removed, and thinking it was a brave part of my life, almost come out of a different character, and they're not getting that, fake one put in. And I think that's quite good, really. It's quite noble, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I've got one. So around like the healthy choices and habits and lifestyles, what do you think people could change within their own lifestyles to help either prevent or lessen the risk of cancer developing?
I would, from a university point of view, and I'm only saying this because one of my friends is doing a dissertation, or has done a dissertation on addiction, and he was asking me about drinking, gambling, sex, drugs, and I think that one main, like I said, that drinking is the spider diagram to all of that. Like when you're drunk, start gambling, drugs. That's the only situation that it would normally be in. So I would say, and I think with stuff like people going out running and stuff, there's so many run clubs and stuff now. I think there's just more and more stuff getting created, which is encouraging people to socialise differently rather than just going and getting paid.
Fair play for you for saying that, because I've naturally come away from drink over. I used to be a DJ, just to let you know. I used to be, you can imagine, probably, played at parties in your town or whatever, but
No, I can't imagine.
after parties, everything else.
What do you mean by that?
But for you to notice that again at your age, absolutely fair play.
I think it does become a problem, because I feel the current British university culture is very much allowing alcoholism as just passing off as just having a pint with mates. A lot of time at uni, because the amount of times I'll come back on the way from uni, pubs are packed on a Tuesday at 3, and it's
you slowly start realising the people who are struggling with it. They're going for a pint when no one really wants to. And it's like I've never felt the need. Like I could stop drinking for 2 weeks. It's just like I do just enjoy it, going out with your mates, but I'm not addicted to it. But it's so normalised, like you said, in the university culture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But even not university culture. It could just like
British culture, isn't it?
It's British culture. It is, yeah.
And rugby. Which stems from OddBalls, and that's my background as well. I come from a rugby background. It's a crazy culture. I don't know if you guys are in any of them circles, but it's played by maniacs. Fun times, really fun times, but it's very extreme.
No.
So it's all extreme behaviour, extreme on the field, extreme in training, extreme in the pub. Everything's crazy.
It's quite hard to come back down from that as well. Once you're at that peak, it's a bit like to go at work the next day. There,
you can normally look at someone and go, "That's a rugby player." That, but like you,
wrong.
Something to do with rugby culture. And this, I was speaking to a few of my mates about this, and someone said, "Oh yeah, we do stuff like bum offs and stuff like that." So, what's that, Dan?
Bum offs?
Yeah, I've not heard about that.
Actually, no, mate. It must be for a different club.
Oh. Supposedly, it was a rugby culture thing. So, the game is you literally strip down, bollock naked, and the person who wins is the person that submits the person on the floor and pretends to bum someone 3 times.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff.
So yeah, that's just an example of rugby culture.
Yeah. So there were one actually after the game. So if there was a debut player for our club, they'd do what's called a 3-man lift. So when they've done the presentations after the game, so the rugby culture is everybody goes and has a pint after the game.
Yeah.
In football, people just generally just start off, play the game and go. In rugby, everyone goes back to the clubhouse, they do man at match awards, they talk about the game, everyone just has a bit of banter and what have you. Every time there were a debut player, they would say, right, we're going to do a 3-man lift. So I'm like, what's a 3-man lift? Like, come on, we'll show you. So one of the players would get ready, as if he were going to lift 3 men off the floor. So they get him to link up so that the person in the middle, i.e. the debut player, was trapped. So he was completely like arms like this, and he's getting ready, like shaping up to pick 3 men up. And then he's like, right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. He just drop his pants and then just sit on his face in front of everybody. And now we're like some young kid at like 17 who just played the debut in front of everyone, and it were like absolute violation. Well, that's the kind of thing that you're dealing with.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just craziness.
Honestly, with some of the stories that
you guys are way too sensible for that.
No, because some of the unis down south, and even like it's more the niche ones. It's like Manchester and Liverpool. Although there's some fuck stuff that goes on, I'd say because it's quite there's loads to do in both cities. They're massive cities, but in your Exeter's and Loughborough and maybe not
Trust
but
this campus university.
Yeah, it's like they've got no choice to be, unless like they've just got to be absolute wrong-uns in house parties, and that's that. I'd say that's where it comes from. Your posh universities, your Oxford and stuff, when They're just in halls.
Yeah,
Yeah, bored.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Should we talk about our products?
Defo.
Yeah, that's it. Hear about it.
Let's do it.
So, obviously, we briefly mentioned it, but we've got some budgie smugglers with you boys, which we're really excited about. Something that people can use in line with the ice baths and the saunas and everything else. In fact, let's show you.
By the way, it's real cold in it. Look at them.
Oh, lovely brand.
They're brilliant.
Yes, covering your tackle on the back, which is very apt. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So we're excited about that, and we've got
Got the BB, yeah, lovely.
Got
the beanies. There we go.
Look at them.
Very on brand.
What words do you two use to describe your testicles?
Beanbag.
Nuts for me.
Nuts.
Nuts. Original. What else is there?
Well, the one I didn't know before the get started was gonads.
Gonads.
Gonads. I was going to say gonads, but then I thought that's probably more of a northern thing. Like, a lot of people say gonads, don't they?
Yeah.
But
Bollocks is the only one that's not on there, and there's always one kid who feels top of the world. There's
Go.
what's some others? Some others then.
Crown jewels.
Crown Jewels. Jules.
Yeah.
Tim and Tom. The fellas.
The fellas. Yeah, the fellas. I like that one.
Spuds.
Buds, yeah. That's it.
There's all sorts, isn't there?
Yeah.
So what other services do you provide, just for anyone that doesn't know? So obviously we've got the swimmers that we're going to provide. What else do you guys provide? And tell us the difference between what OddBalls is and the foundation as well, if you can tell us the difference between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. Go on.
No, so the OddBalls Foundation, like we've kind of touched on, is a lot about just the awareness sessions, the workshops. I think the whole idea is that if we go to schools and kind of keep educating over the years, those people grow up, and then we don't have to focus on the older demographic, because then that just sort of covers naturally the demographic from 15 to 49 as they go through. We've got the check yourself guides you see on the table there. So that's just a kind of a 4-step way to check your testicles, make sure there's nothing kind of worrying there. We've got videos online. I think in terms of services, it's not as much service based. It's just awareness, and we do kind of big challenges. Ambassadors do big fundraising events, and it's a lot of big fundraising events to kind of get the message spread out and raise a lot of money to kind of be able to. I think the whole idea is that if we do more and more fundraising, we can fund more and more ambassadors and kind of reach every small town, village, city. Because at the moment we've got 50 ambassadors across the main sort of cities across the UK and Ireland. But I think if we can get more fundraising done, more ambassadors do more awareness sessions is the idea.
Yeah, and I'd say this year more than any other. Obviously, we do our awareness sessions, go into assemblies and give talks to anyone, businesses, schools. But I'd say this year more than not, we've been kind of setting up stalls in certain places. So we've had this partnership with a company called MKM Building Supplies, and they're massively involved with Hull City. So I was up at Hull City game, Hull City vs Ipswich. We had a big stall outside, gazebo, the cars parked there, chatting to people. Then how that worked as well, because it's a massive company, they bought thousands of boxes which had MKM on and all your OddBalls colours. So then they were going out into the crowd just before the Hull City game, throwing them to everyone.
Ah, brilliant.
So
Similar to that, we've started a new OddPod. So it's like a cube structure. And we started off, so most of our managers are from the Nottingham area. So they trialled it at Nottingham University I think it was a week ago. And the idea is that you go there, you check your balls, and then you get a free pair of underwear. And so then obviously university students, they're going to see, something free, I'm going to go do that. But then if we can get that OddPod touring around lots of different places, in the grand scheme of things, a pair of underwear is nothing if we get someone into the habit of checking their balls every month just from that one interaction. Yeah. And so that's something that started that's really cool as well.
And I'd say, like you said, knowing the difference between OddBalls as an underwear company, My OddBalls, and OddBalls Foundation. My OddBalls is an underwear company which still obviously promotes the idea of testicular cancer and regular self-checking. And we don't know the complete finances, but a small profit of each 100 you buy does come to the OddBalls Foundation. But how that works is because they're so close-knit partners, as in the OddBalls Foundation, Oddballs. When we do stuff like that down in Nottingham, my Oddballs will send them loads of boxes all to our managers. And then once they come down, show interaction, give them out. Because obviously, not only does that help us, but people getting free boxes, they're not just going to want one pair. They'll end up going buying some more anyway. So it's such a great company and charity at the same time. It really is brilliant. So yeah,
I think it'd be really well received just by people as well, because it's like you're doing something genuine for the greater good, and you're not just pushing something down. Obviously, there's a business element involved. We know that, there is money involved. Yes, in order for you guys to do what you do, there's money involved. Of course there is. But when you're doing it for that clear vision to start with, I'm guessing the people receive it really well as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think also when we joined the role, it was made very clear to us that there's like die-hard OddBalls fans. So they'll have every single pattern there is. Like, there'll be limited edition Paddy Days comes out and everyone's trying to buy them as quick as possible, and then they run out of stocks. So I think by kind of having that community, that community sort of translates to the OddBalls Foundation as well.
Yeah.
Because if they see an OddBalls Foundation event going on, they're like, right, I love OddBalls, I'll chuck in a £5 to this fundraiser.
Yeah.
And it just kind of brings this whole community together, which is quite nice.
Yeah, like that. You've got people who've been there from the start. Like I actually only really knew about it, say, maybe 2 years ago. I've seen the boxes before, but I didn't know what it was. But you've got people who have probably been wearing the boxes since they started in 2014. So when they see us driving around in the cars and giving talks and stuff, we get massively complimented on it. It's always nice to hear.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry, driving around Manchester getting papped from the sides of the streets. Everyone's like, oh, there's another OddBalls.
Yeah, terrible parking.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you'll have to be careful, won't you? Because it's not like...
Oh, yeah, you never lose your car.
Yeah, it's not inconspicuous, is it? You're not...
To be fair, I've only got 2 hours of me parking. I'm about full of What's up? We've got 42 minutes for south.
How did you lads align with the brand? What really set that spark off in terms of, I want to be involved in that, or I'm intrigued in that? Where did it start for you guys?
So, me personally, I think, so Freshers week, started coughing up a lot of blood. So Freshers flu gone wrong. So then I went to hospital, scary time, and then I was put on the 2-week cancer wait list. So obviously nothing to do with my testicles. And then thankfully had all the scans, everything. It was all clear, fine. And like I said, it wasn't to do with testicular cancer, but it was a scary time. And I thought people need to be aware of their health, need to kind of have that awareness to make sure they're looking after themselves.
Yeah.
So thankfully I was all right. But if I can do these talks and help someone else make sure that they're all right and looking after themselves, then it's a good cause.
Yeah.
So I think that the brand is just fun and quirky. It's like it's a really cool brand to be a part of, and say like,
yeah,
and you get kind of bragging points on campus as well. I'm an OddBalls ambassador, so it's I think just the whole package is just a really cool thing to be part of.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's almost 2 aspects of it, and I think me, when I found out about it as a fresher, I was more the second point. I'd seen my mate who was a bit older than me driving around in the car. He was 3rd year, he was dead cool in the rugby team. I was like, I definitely want a piece of that. And then once I then got the role, went to the ambassador day, realised how good it was and kind of what I was involved in, then I was like, yeah, I'm going to smash this year. And ever since then, Liverpool getting the fight night, I presented it, involved in that. It's just been absolutely amazing.
Great stuff, man.
That's awesome.
I'm excited to see because obviously this is the first collaboration with us and you guys, and I think going forward I can see it developing and we'll do more stuff together
100%.
as we grow. We've got a little present for you today. So we've just joined up with the guys at Hub. So they've developed Nitro cold brew coffee.
Very nice.
This one's oat flat white. So are you both coffee drinkers?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
I like coffee.
Flat white?
Never flat white.
I'll try it.
There you go.
Well, I'll try the other one for them.
Or if you're on more of a cut, black coffee and brown sugar.
I think I'll go with the flat white.
Flat white. There you go.
Cheers. Thank you.
Craft that. Get some ASMR on microphone.
That's lovely, that.
Oh. There you go. Play that back in slow-mo. How's that?
Nitro cold brew coffee.
How's it
That's
taste?
good. That.
No,
Very nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, and I don't normally have oat milk either.
Bit nutty, innit?
Yeah, it's
Bit
nice.
nutty. Yeah.
I've always, because I normally am.
Any allergies?
Almost done it.
Quite a bit of coffee, right?
But
Yeah, no, normally I'm a normal milk drinker. And I started moving over to own. It's a bit nice to move there, a little different place.
You're a flat white man.
I'm definitely a fat white man. Got the Pret a Manger coffee subscription. You know, you pay £20 a month and you get 5 coffees a day for free. I mean, probably a bit excessive, but
this guy's serious. This guy's hilarious. You know what tea, man?
You a tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee, mate.
Pure diesel for me.
Are you saying that just because we're on camera?
It's actually a real thing. Al's a bit of a coffee snob, to be fair.
I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I can't even drink Nescafe anymore. If someone offers me an instant coffee, I'm like, I can't waste my caffeine. I'm like,
It's not a coffee machine.
no, I just go out to different shops. I love the social aspect. So
Nice little coffee.
yeah, talking about the alcohol sort of
It's
culture.
the change of going to the pub, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. So now I go in coffee shops, and that's my
the different coffee shops that have been made of, but even not even the last 5 years, like the last 2, like the ones that you see in the likes of Liverpool and Manchester, especially as well. Like you couldn't really be in a better say in terms of quirky places.
Oh yeah.
coming up.
It is an art as well, though, because
Oh yeah.
because I work in just a weekend job in like a cafe / bistro,
Yeah.
and the kind of the precision into how much water for the ground of coffee.
Oh, you're real a coffee boy.
Different type of bean.
Yeah, how long is like the different roasts, medium roasts.
Different world, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Love it. Have you guys got any testimonial type stories from, you've helped to raise awareness and somebody's come to you and said, this is a story from us, this is what's happened, you've helped to save my life, or has anything like that come to you guys, or any stories that you can...
I would say the only one is, and it's not too deep at all, but they've launched, OddBalls did a launch with Cadbury's. Mondelez International is the actual company, as in the one that owns absolutely everything around Cadbury's. They own Cadbury's, but it was Cadbury's specifically. And basically, this lady set it up and we went into all the factories across the UK. I did the first one, which was in Chirk in North Wales, only about 45 minutes from Liverpool. And I got a tour around the factory, and obviously it's so male dominated in the factory, quite older men who work there making the chocolate. And Chirk's the first one which makes the drinking chocolate and then gets sent down to the likes of Bourneville and the bigger ones which make the proper chocolate, and you can eat the cream egg straight out of the conveyor belt. But they bought a lot of boxes and we were handing them out, speaking to people. But then I found out literally an hour into speaking to the lady who'd set it all up, and she told me that the reason she set it up is because she was at my first talk in Widnes, and she was at it was a cancer awareness station, and she went, and it was the first time she really gone to anything after having stomach cancer, and she literally just went, and it was at this thing called Sam's Diamonds, and it was a lady who set it up after she had breast cancer. It was essentially just like people who have gone through cancer just to be there for one another, and I was there doing a talk on testicular cancer. But she said that she'd come up and spoke to me, but I couldn't remember. But she'd come up and spoke to me and just said, I think she just said, I like what you're doing and stuff. But then just from me giving my talk, they've gone and launched this full Cadbury's thing. Wow. And it all started from me. And Josh messaged me, my manager, saying like, oh yeah, she messaged a couple of months after hearing one of your talks. So I'd say that's the one point I'd come from that.
That's amazing.
It was, especially for my first talk, so I was really nervous, so I'd never really.
Yeah. Wow. You just don't know what impact it's going to have.
I know. That yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But coming off the back of you pushing yourself to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's part of our values and our ethos with what we're doing. And it's like, go venture out of that comfort zone of yours, and you never know what you're going to find on that journey.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a beautiful thing that you've done that's impacted loads more people.
Absolutely. Just
for you pushing yourself. You know, some people shirk those things at the last minute. You know, like, oh, I feel really nervous, or throw a sickie last minute. You know, get it over the line, get it done, and then look. You know, they're the kind of things that you can reapers of the rewards. So yeah, I'm thrilled to be part of this little journey. It's nice to collab with a company like yourselves and everything that you stand for. I think it aligns with us perfectly, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And not just the values, but the products as well. They just run hand in hand. So no, it's a really cool thing that we're doing. Looking forward to the photo shoot next week.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, tell us a bit more about your products in terms of, you say you do saunas, ice baths, and...
Yeah, so we've got portable at the moment. We're moving on into a new realm, a new direction very soon. We're not gonna
He's coming soon. Someone might have an idea.
we're not gonna go too deep in there. We see you. But yeah, like, you know, we are slightly changing direction as a brand in terms of the products that we're providing, and we want to be a voice, and we want to be a service as well. We don't want to just sell products to people. We've always said that. This journey started as a podcast.
It all started from here.
Started as a podcast first, before anything. So that come off the back of us wanting to align with people that were more health conscious, spreading a positive message, teaching people about nutrition, mindset, building businesses, everything that surrounds health, wellness.
Apart from, obviously, your mum having brain cancer, anything else that inspire the idea in terms of any other podcasts, any other maybe celebrity that we might know?
In terms of inspiration for me, it was Joe Rogan, really. You know, I started listening to his podcast a few years ago, and I was just like, what a cool way to spend your days.
Yeah.
You know, speaking to people, and you know, Joe's a very, very intelligent person as well, so he can have such complex conversations with different people.
Yeah.
You know, he can be talking to a fighter one week and then talking to a scientist another, you know, and he can hold the conversation down. And I just thought it was really inspiring. I think it makes you level up. It makes you research more, learn how to articulate better, you know, communicate better with people. They're key things that we need to have in life in order to get ahead. I think how we communicate is massive. Yeah. So that were an inspiration for me in particular. By you?
For me, it was just the journey of self-development, and I stumbled upon podcasts in my journey, and then I started reading, you know, books about business and mindset and even finance. And, you know, I didn't really take the educational side of things seriously, like when I was your boy's age, so it's come to me a bit later on in life. So yeah, and then I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this information is readily available for us to, you know, change our own life. And then I just thought, what would make me feel uncomfortable starting my own podcast? So then that's what we did.
How did you meet?
I had him on as a guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, he's
How long ago was this?
during lockdown. I had him on as a guest. I actually lost the file on my laptop.
Honestly, I thought he'd mugged me out.
Honestly.
I thought, that must have been shit because he hadn't put it out.
So literally probably 12 months ago, a bit more, I found my laptop, you know, some hidden files in there. You know, it's that local PT lad that I interviewed that time. Reopened it and really like aligned with the conversation again, and then I just reached out to him, started training, he started coaching me a bit, and then we just connected like that, and then it's just flourished, hasn't it, mate?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful relationship, hasn't it? Love.
And now we're down budgie smugglers together. Look at his proper bromance.
Now we're going to do a little snap edit and you're going to be sat in them.
But yeah, I think that's about it, really, boys. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. Let's keep in touch.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll go on to be very successful in your own right as well.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So, yeah, over and out.
Yeah, nice one.
Cheers,
Thanks,
boys.
Guys.
Brilliant. Thank you.